this is Maria Sima, and I'm a teacher of English at Pia Brătianu School in Bucharest. And I would like to invite all 8th graders to attend my English class today. In today's lesson, we are going to find out more about sustainable living, what it means, what it involves, and how we can better support it. And then in the second part of our lesson, we are going to revise some modal verbs, which some of you may already be familiar with. So let me show you the materials I have prepared for you, and I hope you will enjoy every single minute of our lesson. So to start with, as I told you earlier, I would like to focus your attention on this concept of sustainable living, and to better understand it, I would like you to have a look at these pictures from A to F, and try to decide which ones you think are about sustainable living. As you can see, pictures A and C have a similarity. They show people who are reusing some old containers, like the lady who is reusing an old thermos flask, or the man who is reusing these old plastic bottles to refill his water supply. And as opposed to these practices, pictures B and D illustrate the idea of buying a new drink, and with every new drink we buy, creating some extra packaging, which later on leads to waste and to pollution, of course. And similarly, we can see a contrast between pictures E and F. In picture E, we have some fruit sold in an open-air market, perhaps, but this fruit comes the way it is, with no packaging, no wrapping, whereas the fruit sold in shown and in picture F is the type of fruit which we can find in supermarket, and which usually comes in a lot of packaging, like plastic foil, plastic trays, and so on. As you have figured out for yourselves, of course, pictures A, C, and E are about sustainable living. And now, for a better understanding of this concept, I would like you to pay attention to a recording. It's about the blog of a teenager. And while you are listening to the recording, I would like you to focus your attention on the 4 questions which are below the text, and try and find an answer to these questions. So now I'm going to play the recording.
Green Mark's blog. Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the needs of future generations to meet their own needs. Did you know that 1/3 of the world's population lives on less than $2 a day? Millions of people around the world work very hard, but they can't make enough money to feed their families. We can all do something to help. We must start living sustainably. How? Well, we need to respect and protect people and the environment. We must stop exploiting the hard work of others. We can live well without making other people suffer. Here are some basic tips. 1. Buy local. Firstly, we should try to buy food which is grown locally. This helps local farmers. For example, I live in Stroud, Gloucestershire, which is a market town where you can find a full range of local produce available all year round. So, food is fresh and healthy, but also organic. Milk is organic, and it's produced in local dairy farms, where cows are left out to pasture to give the creamiest, sweetest milk. It's delicious. 2. At the supermarket. Secondly, I believe we must start buying fewer pre-packaged products. We can start by deciding carefully what we really need, what we can do without, and what we can reuse later. So, for example, we can put our shopping in paper or cotton bags which are reusable. But we can also buy liquid soap on tap, which means they let you take your own containers so you can buy as much or as little as you like without producing any waste, and therefore help to protect the environment. 3. Fair trade. Finally, we should help people in poorer countries have a good income. Where do our food and clothes come from? Who produces them? How much are they paid? Do producers make children work long hours? Fair trade is an international organization which fights to give workers and producers a fair price for their products. In Europe, rice is sold for about $3 a kilo, 10 times the price which is given to producers. Fair trade buys from cooperatives in Thailand and India, and it pays them a good price for their rice. If producers get a fair price for their products, they can pay their workers fair wages. This too helps create a more sustainable way of living.
Okay, I hope you have enjoyed this listening task. And now let's see if your answers to the questions are similar to my answers. So, for question number 1, what does sustainable living mean? Well, sustainable living means respecting and protecting people and the environment. It also means meeting the needs of the present without compromising or damaging the needs of future generations. The second question, why is it advisable to buy local food? We should buy locally produced food in order to help local farmers and also in order to feed ourselves on fresh and healthy products. Question number 3. When we shop at the supermarket, how can we do sustainable shopping? We can do sustainable shopping by buying fewer prepackaged products and by carefully deciding what we really need and what we can reuse later. Moreover, sustainable shopping means putting our purchases in paper or cotton bags, which are reusable. And finally, the last question. Question number 4. How does fair trade fight for people? Fair trade helps people in poorer countries by fighting to give workers and producers a fair price for their products. Okay, now to insist a bit more on this concept of sustainable living, I have one last task for you. It's about a vocabulary exercise. So I would like you to have a look at these pictures and complete the expressions with one of those verbs in the box next to the pictures. Of course, all the verbs are about sustainable living. Pollute, save, protect, recycle, recharge, reuse, reduce, and cut down. As you can see, the first picture has already been done for you, and you have the expression to reuse materials. Now, let's see. For the first picture, the correct verb to fill in is pollute, to pollute the air. For the second picture, the correct verb is to cut down, in the expression to cut down forests. For picture number 3, the verb is to recycle, and we have the expression to recycle paper, glass, or plastic. For picture number 4, the verb to choose is save, to save water, to save energy. For picture number 5, the verb is to reduce waste. Picture number 6, we have the verb to protect endangered species. And finally, picture number 7, we have the verb to recharge batteries. I hope what I have presented you so far has helped you understand this concept of sustainable living, and now we can draw a conclusion based on what we have listened to, what we have discussed about, and actually now we can say we better know what sustainable living is. So what is sustainable living? Well, sustainable living is about our ability to reduce, to reuse as much as we can, to recycle, to repair, to rebuild, to resell, and refurbish. Okay, with this we are done for the first part of our lesson, and for the second part, as I told you earlier, I would like to discuss a bit some features of modal verbs, and to do some practice exercises together, which focus on modal verbs. And I'm going to start our discussion with six sentences which I've taken from the recording we've listened to earlier. And all of them contain a modal verb. As you can see, you have the modal verb can, in we can all do something to help. Could, we could put our shopping in paper or cotton bags. The modal verb can again, can she switch off the lights? Must, we must stop exploiting the hard work of others. The modal verb should, first, we should try to buy food which is grown locally. And the modal verb will, a lot of animal species will disappear soon. As you can see, all these modal verbs help me as a speaker to express different linguistic functions. Yes, with the help of a modal verb, we can express advice, we can express a request, we can ask for permission, we can express possibility, prohibition, obligation, and so on. What's more, these modal verbs function as auxiliary verbs. So they can form the interrogative and the negative by themselves. As in this question, can she switch off the lights? So we have the inversion, modal verb subject, and we have obtained a question. Besides this, the modal verb is always followed by the short infinitive of the main verb. As you can see, we have the examples: we can do something, we could put, we must stop. So we always have the modal verb and the short infinitive, the infinitive without two of the main verb. And something else which I would like you to notice is that in the third person singular, the modal verb doesn't take an S as we are used to with normal verbs. So in this, can she switch off the lights? In this question is in the third person singular, but the modal verb can doesn't take an S. Okay, to conclude a little bit what I've been telling you here, I have prepared a list of some of the features and characteristics of modal verbs. So, modal verbs can express different linguistic functions. The answer of a modal verb depends on the situation communicated, on the person whom one is speaking to, and on the probability of an event to take place or not. Modal verbs are followed by an infinitive without to. Modal verbs do not take S in the third person singular, and modal verbs behave like auxiliary verbs in the negative and interrogative forms or in short answers. And to better understand the use of modal verbs, I have prepared some practice exercises, and the very first one of them is this exercise in which I would like you to complete the table with the correct modal verb according to the function it serves. So let's see. Which modal verb will you choose from that table when you want to talk about an ability, to ask for permission, or to request something? Which modal verb are you going to choose to express a probability, to ask for permission, to request something formally, or to talk about your ability in the past? Which modal verb is suitable to express possibility? Which modal verb is suitable to give some sort of advice? Which modal verb should we use to express obligations and prohibitions? Which modal verb goes when we want to propose something or when we offer ourselves to do something? And which modal verb best fits to make predictions and promises? And here are the solutions to this exercise. Of course, can is for abilities, like I can do math. Is for permission, can I use your mobile phone? Or when we want to request something, can you help me with my homework? Could is for probability, as in the train could be late again. For asking for permission, could you allow me to use your pen? To request something formally, could I leave earlier today? Or to express our ability in the past, in I could swim when I was 3. May is used to express possibility. The train may be late again today. Should, to give advice. You should go to bed earlier. Must, to express obligations. You must wear a helmet when you ride your bike. Or prohibitions. You mustn't drink and drive. Shall, to propose something or to offer. Shall we go and see a film? Or shall I help you with those boxes? and will to make predictions and promises. I hope we will have a great summer, or I promise I will do my best next time. Another exercise which involves modal verbs. Um, I have picked this exercise in order to make you practice this idea of possibility, request, obligation, suggestion, promise, or advice, and to match these functions to the modal verb. So, for the first example, can you tell me what sustainability means? Of course, we are using the modal verb can to express a request. In the second sentence, you should reuse those glass bottles. Here, we are using the modal verb should to express advice. You could make vases from bottles. Here we have modal verb, the modal verb could, to express a suggestion. In the fourth sentence, we can all cycle to school because it's not far. This is a possibility. In the fifth sentence, I'll send you an email. Here we have the modal verb will for a promise. And in the last sentence, you must stop deforestation. Here we have the modal verb must to express obligation. And as a last exercise, which deals with modal verbs, I would like you to have a look at these statements and try to guess the correct modal verb. So, for the first example, will, can I have an ice cream? Number 2, I think you should, may, buy her a present. She'll be happy. For sentence number 3, you should, may be right about Columbus's birthplace. Let me check the net. Sentence number 4, you mustn't, couldn't use your mobile phone in a public library. You disturb others. Sentence number 5, can, shall I help you with this math exercise? Number 6, can, could you use a computer when you were 4? And finally, number 7, have you ever been to Cornwall? No, I haven't, but I may, can go next summer, who knows? And of course, in here, you have the correct answers, and I hope your answers match my answers. So, the correct answers are, can I have an ice cream? I think you should buy her a present. You may be right about Columbus's birthplace. You mustn't use your mobile phone in a public library. Shall I help you with this math exercise? Could you use a computer when you were 4? Have you ever been to Cornwall? No, I haven't, but I may go next summer. Of course, in the first sentence, we have a request. In the second one, we have some piece of advice. In the third one, we have possibility. In sentence number 4, we have the idea of prohibition. In sentence number 5, we offer ourselves to do something. In sentence number 6, we ask about somebody's ability to do something in the past. And in sentence number 7, we have the idea of possibility of going next summer somewhere. So this has been all for today. I hope you have enjoyed my class, and I hope what we have learned and discussed here today will be useful to you in the future. We will see again soon, but until then, stay safe and take care of yourselves. And thank you very much for your attention. Bye bye.